Well, let's move on very quickly. Nigeria's fintech industry has grown significantly in recent years, with numerous startups providing cutting-edge financial solutions to clients all through the nation. Now, fintech is the term used to describe the combination of finance and technology. It encompasses all the innovative ways in which technology can be applied to enhance traditional banking and financial activities. To encourage the development, growth, and advancement of this sector in the nation, the government has implemented laws and programs, of course, to support the growth of this industry that some would say youths are actually major players in that sector. Well, that's arguable, though. But let's understand Nigeria's fintech space, issues surrounding it. I have the right person in the house. He's live in the studio. He's the Chief Technology Officer, co-founder of Kuda Technologies Limited, Mr. Mustafa. Thank you so much. It's good to have you on the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
It's the first time on the show. We appreciate this.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so
Great stuff. What is your assessment? Let's start that way with the performance of the fintech industry, let's say for the first half of this year.
Yeah, well, there has been different sort of key events that shaped the fintech ecosystem in Nigeria.
Okay.
But the prominent one that sort of like stands out among all of these would be the cashless policy introduced by Central Bank. That is the total cashless policy introduced by the Central Bank. The responses that the fintech industry and the ecosystem in Nigeria has responded to that to offer unique and convenient solutions to the Nigerian populace has been phenomenal. We got all of these indication from the responses that the consumers have given to the industry in terms of transfers that we provided and different payment solutions that we provided in response to the hardship that the cashless policy has given to consumers.
People. But what, can you highlight any trends or development that have really stood out? You've talked about cashless, and how have we been able to address the fallout, let me say, of that policy?
Yeah. Well, given the fact that Kuda has been, if I may use the word cashless again, cashless right from the beginning.
Okay.
What I think the trend that stood out is the rate of adoption from both the consumers and also the businesses. We've seen small businesses now that Itato would collect cash and insist on cash. They now have different ways on which they can collect payment. Prominent of that is the transfer services. They have account number. In fact, you see the pure water sellers on the road, they attach their account number to the bowl of pure water that they're selling. If you walk into a shop, you can now pay via QR code, you can pay via, with your card, you can pay via transfers. All of these has been the major sort of trend that we've seen emerging in our
Well, I must tell you, it's interesting when you're passing by and you see the Akara woman and all of the small businesses, very small, we call those micro, and they're now with their POSs, and it's so, it's an innovation, truly, and we must commend. But with the new administration in place, we've seen a lot of moves here, the monetary policy, we've seen security chiefs being changed and all of that. But what are your expectations with regards to policies and regulations as it affects your industry?
Yeah, I mean, look, we've seen all of the things that are happening, but from expectation and from our perspective, I think there are the key things, there are three key things I would sort of like expect in terms of policy change and intentionality from the government and to foster the growth that we're seeing in this sort of sector. One of the key things is the policy that would entrench continuous relationship between the traditional players and the new players, that is the traditional banks and the fintech. Policies around credit administration. Our credit administration in Nigeria is still a lot of work that we still need to do. We think that the players in this sector alone cannot achieve it. We need government policy and backing around that to ensure that we have a strong and credible credit administration system in the country. And last, in terms of immediate sort of needs that we think government policy intervention is required will be in terms of fraud management and education of customers. Cashless has come to stay, if I may use that word, right? It will be important for the general populace to have required knowledge in terms of financial knowledge and the e-payments ecosystem, and also effective fraud administration and enforcement would be an area that would expect immediate government policies on.
Very interesting stuff. But I would also stay on that again, that to support innovation in your industry, government must do something to enable that space. Yeah. So if you're in a meeting where you're asked to advise government that some of the challenges we face, this and this could help us get through it. Can we have some specifics?
Yeah, well, in terms of specific, bordering around the point I had made earlier,
okay.
I mean, if we have a government-coordinated central administration of fraud management in the country, I think that would be a right step. That is being specific. It doesn't have to be that way. Essentially, we need an intention, and we've seen a lot of development in the industry as well. Different institutions coming together to form a collaboration in how we address sort of this situation, even both in credit management and also in fraud administration as well. But having government to sort of like bring the new and the weight of government behind this sort of initiative, I think is going to go a very long way, to be honest.
I also ask you that what are do you see the industry evolving? I'm looking at supply chain disruptions and all of that has affected the industry now. And how do you see the industry evolving with all of these challenges, inflation, FX issues, and all of that? How would you react to this?
Yeah, well, from our side, now, one of the key, honestly, this period that we are, the key things that we cannot shy away from is the impact of the cashless policy on the overall economy. And if we can enhance it, we can harness the positivities that it brings to the table for the Nigerian economy. And I think fintech has a crucial role to play in that area. Okay. What I see happening mostly is more businesses and more innovation around how small businesses can continue to collect payments effectively in the easiest manner and in a very cheap, affordable manner. And also how effective that consumers can continue to make payments in easiest way and also in a cheap and affordable manner. Because those two things are very important, accessibility and affordability. If we achieve those things in our payments industry, I think it will have a positive ripple effect on the economy as a whole.
As a company, of course, you have plans, and not all of them. You won't tell us all of it. Some are inner for the inner carcass. But tell us, given the present realities and dynamics that we face as a country, now, what are your plans for, let's say, for the year ahead?
Yeah, well, the plan is simple. I mean, what I can tell you right now will still remain. We are still continuing to stick to our vision, which is to make financial services affordable and accessible to the entire Africans on the planet. Mm-hmm. Wherever you are, we want to be able to bank you and make the financial services affordable to you and accessible to you. It doesn't matter your status in life, your status in the society, whether you have a smartphone or not, whether you even have phone at all. It shouldn't matter to you. That is the mission that we continue to execute, and we're doing everything possible day by day to get closer to fulfilling on that mission.
There's some latest consumer trends now, like the contactless card and digital cards. Are you planning to key into all of this?
Absolutely. Again, because even if we cannot focus, it's a two-way stuff, right?
All right?
We cannot focus on just the retail section, the consumers alone, and leaving behind the businesses which these consumers require services or product from. So at Kuda, we've done really, really well on the retail side. We are able to offer convenient and affordable financial solutions to them. We're now turning our light onto the business sector of things from the product that we call Kuda for Business. We have launched recently what we call soft POS, which the entry barrier to the traditional typical POS that we know of is higher for a lot of businesses. They couldn't afford to be able to pay that lump sum of money to be able to get access to terminal they can use to collect payment. With our soft POS, they are able to just convert their smartphone into a payment terminal they can use to collect money instantly into their account number. So we've released soft POS. We released what we call Pay with Bank, where we also have Pay with USSD. So those who are not with smartphone can either pay with USSD or collect payments with USSD. All of this innovation is around to make financial services accessible and at the same time affordable to both the businesses and the consumers that are using that needs their services.
Interesting conversation. Let's now talk about key areas where you might be investing at the moment. Talking technology, I think it's always evolving. You're the tech expert here. You know what? I do the questioning. That's my job.
Yeah.
But really, you definitely be investing so much on innovation. How do you plan to stay ahead of the curve in years to come? It's very important because, many come in and staying is always the issue. So what are you thinking around that?
Yeah, well, to be frank with you, while we can all talk about the trends of technology, innovations that are happening, nobody wants to be left out. It's like a frenzy. Everybody's just, But the key things that we have identified from the journey of this business is that, excuse me, people remains the most critical asset that you can invest into as any business. And at Kuda, I think that is in our forefront how we approach things. We continue to invest in our people, the ones that we have, and also we want to attract the best of talent from the outside pool, those that we don't have access to at the moment. Just as case in point, this week we'll be having what we call Kuda Connect, which is a platform that connects those just out of school talent, or they were still about to leave school talent. They can meet with key stakeholders at Kuda from technology, products, and different areas of the business to interact with them. In fact, you could have opportunity to have a job on the spot in that place. We'll be having that on Friday. So investment in people and retaining the best of talent, attracting the best of talent still remains one key area that we want to continue to invest upon. And then, of course, we are also exploring, being a technology company, we are exploring the usage of artificial intelligence, especially in the area of customer service support, and making sure that we continue to lower the operational cost of our businesses and continue to make financial services affordable and accessible to the consumers. Really.
Any challenges? Maybe with the people, dealing with people. Yes, of course, it's not always that easy, but many will say yes. How has it been dealing with the experience so far?
I mean, it has been interesting, to be honest. It has been fulfilling and rewarding. We've experienced a tremendous and phenomenal growth in this market.
It has improved financial inclusion.
Absolutely. But there are huge challenges. But I think for me, the key ones, especially when it comes to consumers, will be the education. We have to continue to educate people to lower the trust barrier. And that enlightenment is important. And it's not a responsibility of one organization alone. It's not only what only Kuda could do. It's not even only what the entire industry could do. It's the responsibility of both the industry and the government to continue to enlighten people on what the advantages of this sort of fintech, what it means for the Nigerian economy.
True. We'll keep up with you so that at least happenings in the technology space, you're always there to help us bring up speed, analyze that. I must thank you so much, Mr. Musti Mustafa there. He's the Group Chief Technology Officer and co-founder, Kuda Technologies Limited. Thank you so much for joining us on Business Nigeria.
Thank you so much for having me.
Really appreciate this.
Thank you.